Hi, I'm Bill Sager, and my guest is Chad Kaukani. He's a friend, a colleague on the neighborhood board of Kaneohe, and a candidate for District 3 from Waimanalo through Kaneohe. Chad,
Hey guys.
yeah, hi. We've been talking about issues that you have been discussing with people as you walk through the neighborhoods, and what seems to be the biggest concerns?
Well, right now, after speaking with many people, feel that the biggest concern, of course, is mass transit, all entirely.
The from the standpoint of the Windford side, some people think it's not going to benefit them, and a lot of people have expressed concerns because the bus system is being cut back in order to fund some of the rail. Doesn't seem like the right approach. We need to look at all the technologies out there and come up with the best one for the people of Oahu.
And I agree with that. I am for mass transit and for the jobs that it creates. However, though, I feel that we are looking at the wrong type of technologies, and I think we should explore different ones that are out there to see what more we can do to not just help and benefit the people of Oahu, but for our future as well. I think that by looking at these different technologies, it will also help a lot of the people to work and get them going.
I think of, when I think of steel on steel, I think of the Chicago L and the movies that I've seen of this railroad train screaming by the second and third story windows of people that are living there.
Yes.
And I have a friend in downtown Honolulu who's going to have that steel on steel racket going right by the window of her $350,000 condominium.
That's going to be a sight to see, especially when you're probably trying to sleep and here comes a rail system right through your own living room.
Yeah, the sight to see is a concern for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's why we need to explore different technologies that are out there. I first helped a mayoral candidate for office. We looked into a cement on rubber transportational system, and which allowed more people to be put to work because a lot of the resources actually came from Hawaii. We had the resources for cement. We have the resources for the transit system like this, where it wouldn't be such of an eyesore, I guess you can say, to look at. So we're actually looking more into it, and it would have created a better opportunity for the state. New technology, new things being used around the world, and why not put us on the map for those things?
Steel on steel is a century old.
I agree with that one.
The and cutting back on our bus system in order to pay for this is hurting our people, and it's costing us jobs. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it does not. With us cutting back on the bus systems, it's also putting our bus drivers off of work. At the same token, with times being later, differentiated for the bus systems, it actually makes it a little bit harder for them because now when a person goes and leaves their house, now they have to leave early so that they can catch the bus to work and get to work. They're already away from their families at that time. Now they have to alleviate more time for transportation-wise. Not a lot of people have a driver's license or can drive a car or even have a car. So
there's a lot of elderly folks that are in that category, and of course the people that are doing the janitorial work in our hotels, they depend on the rail. On the bus system,
right.
And so there are a lot of people being hurt by this, and we got to take a look at it.
I agree. We need to take a look at it. We need to see what other opportunities are out there. We need to start building what is smart.
The decisions we make today,
Hmm.
working,
For tomorrow, today.
yeah. And a lot of people have expressed concern, especially in Kailua and to a lesser extent in Waimanalo, about tourist rentals. And a lot of these big homes that are not homes but are mini hotels. Uh, why has that proliferated?
You know, I know that things like that needs to be looked into more. There's been a lot of concerns that when I've talked to a lot of people out there regarding this, and I think that we brought it up earlier that the discussion with a lot of a few boards, things like that, is basically management. It comes down to management as far as these houses are, and I think what needs to be done is kind of looking into them to see what more they can do to not just make it better for them, but for the community around it as well.
The traditional bed and breakfast
Mm-hmm.
is a home with people, families living in that home, and inviting a few guests to stay overnight with them. That's the tradition. In Kailua, so many of these properties do not have resident managers. And we have complaints about noise, about parking, about partying, about illegal activities.
Mm-hmm.
It just degrades the neighborhood. And I've got a friend who has a real nice home in Kailua, and she has 4 of these monstrous buildings within a couple of blocks of her.
Mm-hmm.
And it totally changes the character of a residential community.
It can, especially if there's nobody on the property to help manage it. I mean, if people who go into the homes, and let's just say they do end up throwing a party, it should come down to the management and, of course, the homeowner's responsibility to make sure that everything is being accommodated for and properly taken care of.
I read on one of the ads on the internet, they charge $3,000 a night for the facility, and if you wanted to have special, what did they say, accoutrements,
Mm-hmm.
a limousine and special services, that would be another $5,000 a night.
Wow.
And you can just imagine what those special services might be.
That's a lot of money that needs to be.
There's big money in this, and
There is.
why did it happen? I mean, we've grandfathered bed and breakfast at least twice in Kailua,
Mm-hmm.
and you've got an illegal activity, and we want to make it legal. That's
I honestly think that is something that the city needs to look into more, to make sure that everything is properly set. I mean, why it's allowed to do this, I honestly can't answer that question. I mean, that's actually the key that I need to look into more, is why is it happening, what's going on, what's going to happen, and how can we correct it to make it better, not just for not to just benefit one person, but everyone as well.
right. Yeah. There's big money in it for the person that owns that lot. There's big headaches for the people who own property around it. Now, we talked about jobs a little bit and the contributions of our educational facilities. You went to HPU, or you're
Yes.
finishing up a what kind of degree there?
Psychology degree.
A psychology degree. And how much more do you have to go?
Not too long more. Hopefully by the end of this year I would have my degree in psychology, so I'm actually working hard and fast towards that. Just because I feel that what I started needs to be done.
Yeah.
And
Finish what you started.
and
And,
if I don't
how do you
finish
think
it,
that educational experience will help you in working for the people?
well, through actually all my classes that I'm taking, I'm actually getting a psychological standpoint that psychologists are probably the greatest people out there because they'll listen to the people. So if you ever, you sit down and sit with a psychologist, what I'm learning through my textbooks is that they'll actually sit there, listen to you, and kind of converse with you. So, they're great listeners, and they're great thinkers and doers, because from there, they're going to give you their aspect of what they believe is wrong, what's
Right.
happening, after comforting everything together. And a lot of times, especially if you look through a lot of these journals that are created by a lot of people, you're not just seeing that it's one person who created it. It's many minds put together to creating this massive thing.
And when you can do that, you have a better chance of making a better decision for the future.
Yes, and that's where I believe it all comes down to is it's not just up to one person, or should never just be up to one person. It should always be many people putting their voices together, their ideas and thinking, and then presenting the idea and a solution that will benefit everyone altogether.
I hear labor shouting about jobs and supporting projects, frankly, in my opinion, that may not be the best project out there. I hear environmentalists screaming about clean air and clean water and the end of the earth. But nobody's listening. Nobody's listening to each other.
Right.
And we really have to start doing that.
We actually do, and the funny thing is how you brought up about jobs and environmentalists, things like that. I mean, why can't we create something or look for something, different things out there? For instance, different technologies for energy, that can help create better energy for the state of Hawaii, and at the same token, create more jobs for them.
Right.
By
And we need to be looking at jobs that are well paid, are not going to be outsourced overseas. Olelo, right here. We're in an Olelo studio talking and sharing with a video that's going out to the public. We have King Intermediate School students that are running this system. They're learning about video now. And we need more of that kind of activity.
we do.
We talked a little bit about farming and the lack of vocational agricultural programs in our school system.
And everything all starts with education. In my own honest opinion, everything starts with education, and through the school system. I mean, you think about the general idea of everything. A person is taught going through schooling, how to interact with other people, how to do a lot of things. So in that perspective, you're learning through the school system of how to work, how to go out there and get a job and hold a job. We need to integrate more of this. I mean, agriculture. Agriculture seems to be a little bit getting cut from a lot of places, and that we need to look into more, especially for farming. Hawaii has a great.
We want to keep country,
Yes.
and agriculture is a vital part of that.
And you look everywhere on this island. There's agriculture everywhere. And just learning a lot about agriculture, about farming, things like that, we can keep these farms going. A farm is a job. A person who owns a farm needs to hire other people, creates jobs for them. Not just that for them, but also they need to get that produce somewhere, somehow. That creates more jobs for delivery truck drivers to get out there. And those guys go to stores.
We need to work today for tomorrow. And that's what you're all about.
Yes. Working for our tomorrow, today. And it starts now.
Chad, thank you very much.
Thank you.